Welcome back, Romantic Home family, and welcome if y'all are new. I am Olivias from Romantic Home, and in today's video, I am over the moon excited to share with you guys 20 DIY fall wreaths and florals. You guys, this is going to be kind of a binge-worthy compilation video to get you guys so in the mood to craft and decorate for fall. I'm going to share with you guys different styles and different colors and different ways you guys can make beautiful fall decor on a total budget. Listen, I love to craft and decorate. I know you guys are here for it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and plug in those glue guns. Get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to craft. I want to share with you how to make a super adorable deco mesh fall wreath. So I'm starting out with a Dollar Tree wreath frame and some of the deco mesh from Hobby Lobby. It is so cute, and so I'm just making poofs and using these zip ties. So I'm just making a poof and zip tying it on every little, you can see the little straight prong that's on the wreath form. That's where I'm zip tying it, is into the center part of that prong. So it's super easy, you guys. Do not be afraid of the deco mesh. And again, I did get this deco mesh at Hobby Lobby, and so I'm just making a little poof and tying it off with the zip tie. Now you guys can also use pipe cleaners or wire or whatever really suits your fancy. I usually actually do use pipe cleaners, but I am fresh out and I've gotten so hooked and spoiled on these zip ties. It's just making it so easy. So the next thing I want to do is add another layer of poofs as well, and so I'm just going to zip tie again into another part of the wreath frame, but I'm going to do it in between the prongs this time and just pull like the little poofs out. And I would say the poofs are probably about 12 to 14 inch poofs. Possibly. I didn't measure them, and I don't really do a whole lot of deco mesh wreaths, so you'll have to bear with me, but know that if I can do it, you guys can totally do it. And you guys can see that you can still see the frame in here. So we're only going to use one roll though of the deco mesh. And again, I did get the deco mesh at Hobby Lobby. All of their fall goodies are 40% off. It's going to be in with the fall stuff, and it's this really pretty kind of orange and white check, which I really just kind of fell for. I thought it was really soft and cute and fun. So once you're done getting all those poofs, you can just go ahead and kind of poof them out. The next thing I wanted to do was cut some 12-inch long poofs. Okay, I'm going to use these and then also some ribbon. So again, this ribbon is from Hobby Lobby, and I'm cutting 12-inch strips of ribbon, and I'm going to layer the extra deco mesh underneath the little ribbon. And this might be kind of unconventional, but this is how I like to do some of my deco mesh wreaths. I just think it's so much easier than making all those cuts. But feel free to cut and, you know, poof around your deco mesh, however you love to make it. Okay, the next thing you guys can see me doing is I'm taking my ribbon and I'm dovetailing the ends of the ribbon. So I'm cutting a little triangle in an upward direction, and then I'm going to take two of my poofs and kind of squishy them together or ruffle them with my fingers, or, you know, just kind of whatever floats your boat. I'm trying to get the maximum out of my poofs as possible with my deco mesh. Now I'm taking my ribbon and I'm layering the black and white buffalo check, the orange and white, and then the smaller ribbon with the plaid and also the orange. So I did 4 different types of ribbons, and now I'm just going to pop them in and zip tie them to, again, those little prongs that are on the center part of my wreath form that I already zip tied my original poof to. So I'm going to end up using about 6 of these extra like poofs with the ribbon. So you will want to make sure that you have plenty of ribbon on hand, but even with this amount of ribbon, I did cut extra, and so you guys are going to see in some of my other DIYs how I use that extra ribbon. I think that's always fun to do as well. So now I'm just kind of pulling the ribbon out so you can really get the maximum cuteness and poofness, and give me some grace here. I do need to just kind of, you know, kind of arrange things as I go. But anyway, you guys are just going to repeat that process. So do the layers of the deco mesh, and I did 2 of these. I cut them all at about 12 inches, and then I'm adding in those poofs. So I'm just continuing to add in my little bundles and kind of give them a bit of a fluffing. And I'm also going to end up adding a sign into this as well. There's so many ways you guys can do these, but really if you have some deco mesh and some ribbon, you're pretty good to go. So you guys can see I added in the pumpkin spice and everything nice. That's a Dollar Tree sign. And then I'm going to use my Easy Bow Maker, and I'm going to make a cute little bow. I always like to save enough ribbon when I'm doing these wreaths to add in a bow. So I'm using a 6-inch on either side of my bow. So if you guys can see that those center little wood posts on my bow maker is what holds my ribbon in, and then I'm just dovetailing the ends, and then so I go 6 inches on each side. It's really nice because it has, you know, a little measurement tool. And if you're looking for these bow makers, you guys can find them on Deco Exchange or in your local craft stores or on Amazon. Now sometimes those little center prongs get a little annoying and I have to hammer them back in. So anyway, but otherwise, they're a great little bow tool. So I'm adding in my smaller ribbon and still dovetailing those ends. And then I'm just going to use a zip tie to tie my bow. That way it's nice and tight together. And then I zip tied it onto the top part of my wreath, and I kind of made it go off to the side, and then I'm gonna give it a nice little fluffing here. So again, these are so fun to make. You guys can just have so much fun. Now I happened to pop into my local thrift store and I found these acorn, these cute little acorn ornaments. That's what I'm trying to say. I do want to do another fall tree, but my Christmas trees are up in my attic, so I thought I would add some of these ornaments into this cute little wreath. I also found some little fall leaves at the thrift store, and they were the darker brown color, so I wanted to incorporate that in since I did choose this darker sign. Again, this is a Dollar Tree sign. It says pumpkin spice and everything nice. And you guys have to let me know what you think about this. How did I do with my color combos? Sometimes I do get a little bit nervous with the Deco mesh wreaths because I like to add in so many different color combos, but I think that the black and white with the little black and white blanket ladder is so cute, so fun and fabulous on a total budget. First, a Dollar Tree DIY. I want to share with you how to make a super adorable pumpkin wreath, and we're going to make a wooden beaded wreath. Okay, so from the Dollar Tree, or you guys can also grab these at Hobby Lobby. You're going to find one of these wire wreath frame forms, and I was just at Hobby Lobby the other day and scooped one up. Now this one I have left over from Dollar Tree, but you're basically going to clip the little wire tops off, and then once you have that done, you can wrap the handle. Now as you can see, I over clipped just a little bit, so part of my wreath form kind of came unbuckled there, but it's okay because you can pretty much glue it all back together. So I'm using this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just wrapping the top part of my pumpkin, and then I decided to wrap actually the entire thing with nautical rope. Number one, it's going to give my little wreath form a lot more stability, and number two, it just looks super adorable and so ready for fall. Okay, the other idea I have for you guys is to just grab a wreath form and kind of create something similar with just a circle wreath form. And I'm going to share that with you guys a little bit later in this video, how you can kind of create a cute little pumpkin goodie or fall wreath form in a similar fashion without having the actual pumpkin wreath form. Now, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take these beads. You guys know beads have been all the rage forever now, but I got these off of Amazon. They're already in the natural wood color. Now you can find some at Dollar Tree. Sometimes they're colored and sometimes they're in a natural wreath form, but basically you're just going to take and you're going to load up the little prongs for the pumpkin part with beads. We're going to make a super kind of cool, just chic farm pumpkin wreath. And I will tell you, I did see this craft on the Shabby Tree, which I love. Barb, say hey to Barb for me. She is absolutely amazing, has the best ideas. Go check her out. If you're not following her, definitely go follow her. But so I decided to give it a whirl on my own. Of course, I always like to do my own little twist on it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish loading up the little prongs of the pumpkin wreath form with these beads. I think I did a pumpkin wreath form for you guys last year, and maybe we used mesh on it. I actually totally cannot remember, but these are so fun to play with and get creative with. And I just thought the beaded look, I know it's totally in. So here is how it turned out. Now to reattach the little prongs, you're just going to take your bead all the way to the end and hot glue that back on there. And you do want to give it some time to dry and be very generous with your hot glue as well. Now you guys know me, I love my bows, so I decided to take my little bow maker. This is just the Easy Bow Maker. Hey, you guys can grab one on Amazon, Deco Exchange, they're super cheap. And so I'm going to make a quick little bow. When I start into my bow making season, I love to cheat and use this because it allows me to use a little bit less ribbon, but also get a really great little bow. Now, if you guys want to see more Christmas bows and fun bows, I have a great little DIY bow video for you. It's going to be in the description box of this YouTube video. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just add one more little ribbon. So this ribbon is actually from Hobby Lobby. I cheated and I went ahead and grabbed fall ribbon because my Dollar Tree definitely doesn't have very many fall goodies out, to be honest with you guys. I'm using a lot of stuff left over from last season. I do like to repurpose and reuse a lot of my stuff as well. I'm tying the bow off in the center with this little jute twine. And that way, you know, you don't see any hardware. You guys could also use wire or whatever. So I'm just going to tie it on and then I'm going to give it a good fluffing. It does look a little bit limp and sad, but once we have it all fluffed up, which is really the secret to my bows. Also, a quick little idea for you guys is to always try to use wired ribbon. Wired ribbon is going to stand up to a bit of fluffing and all of that fun stuff. I know the perfect place I'm going to put this. It's either going to hang right outside my front door or on my little kitchen. I have this cute little hook that I like to put seasonal wreaths on. Here is how it turned out. I'm super pumped. I also just might be setting it somewhere. It'd be cute to set in front of like a little pumpkin picture or just kind of how I displayed it in this video. And these pumpkins that are back behind this are actually leather. Here with you how to make a hula hoop wreath. Okay, so you're going to grab a hula hoop from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm just using some of this burlap fabric. You guys can get burlap fabric at pretty much any craft store. And also, if you don't have burlap fabric but you have maybe an old sheet, you can make kind of like a strip of fabric and just use that to cover your hula hoop. I have done that many times before. The next thing I wanted to do was repurpose some old greenery from this summer, but it's kind of like a pretty, you know, just neutral greenery. So I added 2 layers of that. Then I added a layer of the Dollar Tree feathers and then a layer of these Dollar Tree pine cones with the little cotton goodies and cattails at the end. And so, I mean, basically I just have several Dollar Tree and then some greenery all layered in there together at the base of my hula hoop. And then I'm taking a zip tie and I just zip tied everything together. I think it looks pretty cute so far, but if you guys know me, I love to go over the top. And so I just added in some white Dollar Tree mums. These are the mini mums at Dollar Tree. Grab some bundles of these if you guys happen to be out and see these. I really think they're really nice to pop into your arrangements that are going to be a little bit of, you know, a smaller of a detail over some of the larger flowers you might be using for fall. So the next thing I wanted to do was using my easy bow maker. I just made a cute little fall bow. Now Dollar Tree doesn't have out their fall ribbon and it's kind of hit or miss anyway. So I cheated, you guys. I went to Hobby Lobby. All of their ribbon for fall in their fall section is going to be 40% off right now. So I'm just using my easy bow maker. I'm making a 6 to 7 inch bow on either side. So it has like a little measuring goodie and then you just kind of work it back and forth. I'm also using this Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. I kind of shared with you guys in one of my hauls that you can get away with this during the fall season. And then to make my bow, I'm just making this next loop a little bit smaller. I really do love the easy bow maker. It makes it really easy for me when my fingers are tired. It acts as the center point holder and it allows me to layer different colors. Now I do a really easy Olivia bow as well. You guys can check out that video in the description box of this YouTube video. Now I added in this yellow kind of wheat and then also this plaid. I really like to combine a lot of ribbons. I think sometimes I'm a little bit like Punky Brewster. I don't know if you guys remember her from back in the 80s or 90s, but she always liked to use tons of different colors and patterns. So I guess I really like to get creative with my bows. I'm not super creative, I think, in thinking outside the box with tons of patterns and colors like with my outfits. When it comes to my bows, I do like to just really have fun with it. So I'm zip tying the center of this bow with a zip tie, and then I'm going to fluffy out my bow. Now I looked at this and realized, hey, that ribbon had some orange in it. So I just grabbed some more Dollar Tree sunflowers out of my little Dollar Tree floral stash, and then I felt like that was pretty nice, and so I just zip tied my bow to the base of my hula hoop wreath. And you guys, look at how adorable this came out. Listen, I feel like this looks pretty high end. I did pop in a couple of little Dollar Tree pumpkins, and then I just called it good. I had a couple little scrap pieces laying around that I kind of filled in a little bit more, but otherwise I thought it came out pretty fabulous. And I left the green part in because right now where I'm at, it's really hot and it's not quite fall, so I can always go back in and add some more layers of fall leaves once fall gets a little bit closer. But I thought this was a fun take on everything. And also a wooden wreath, not wooden wreath, but anyway, I'll show you what I'm creating. So I took one of them and I just decided to add a nautical rope around the entire thing. I want to kind of do a similar creation to the little pumpkin wreath form that I did. In case you guys don't have the pumpkin wreath form and you may just want to use some of these round hoops, you guys can add beads, and you can also add the nautical rope. And I will tell you, I burnt myself so bad today with this nautical rope, so be careful. The next thing I did was just kind of take apart the little wreath on one side. That way I could scoochy some beads on it, and then I glued that back together and popped it back onto the little sphere, and then took apart the opposite side, and that way I could add some beads to the opposite side. I hope that makes sense, but it has these like little prongs that you can kind of fit everything back into, and so you can just fit everything back in together and then add beads to the opposite side, which I will admit it was a little bit tricky kind of trying to get all of that back on, but with a little bit of hot glue, you guys know me, I can pretty much do magic things with hot glue, at least in my opinion, most of the time. So I just hot glued everything kind of in to secure it a little bit better, and then I decided to create a really cute bow. So this is actually the ribbon that I was looking for earlier, and this is that pumpkin ribbon. It's from Hobby Lobby, and again, I'm just cheating using my easy bow maker, and I'm going to create a cute little bow. Sometimes it's nice just to use actually the same ribbon. I do like to do bows with all different kinds of ribbon, but then for this one, I think I just wanted something a little bit simpler, and I really wanted to show off this pretty pumpkin ribbon. And the pumpkin ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. It's 40% off right now, you guys. All their fall stuff is. You guys can also go on Amazon, and I did order a pack of fall ribbon. I'm curious to see how it's going to be. I didn't really want to link it for you guys until I can actually test it out and make sure that it's, you know, good ribbon. Sometimes you go on Amazon and you're not getting exactly what you think you're getting. Anyway, I'm adding some cute little Dollar Tree leaves to the top and the bottom of this, as well as a pumpkin to make it feel more pumpkin-y, I guess. But I just thought it was a cute little interesting fun creation, and especially if you guys couldn't find that pumpkin wreath form, this might be a good little idea that you guys can use. And then here is how it turned out. I just kind of popped it off to the side on this little sign. I haven't gone full out fall decor in my home yet. This is actually my crafting studio, so it's getting really full of fall in here. It's kind of bursting with fall goodness, which I kind of really love. It's such a cozy vibe, but I do like to get a super big jump start on all my Dollar Tree DIY. I'm going to make a super adorable kind of fall Halloween Dollar Tree wreath. So I'm taking 5 bundles of the Dollar Tree Deco mesh, and I'm cutting them in 10-inch strips. And here is me after I cut all my bundles, and then I'm just kind of bundling them together by grabbing 3 strips and pinching them to the center. And I had these kind of rolled in like a little curly Q or burrito. So the Dollar Tree Deco mesh kind of already is formed in that form, so it's a really easy way to do it. And then I just zip tied it to the center part of my little wreath form. And I am going to do lots of zip tying here. Basically, I'm just going to fill up this whole wreath form with all of my Deco mesh. So pop a great show on or some fun music. You guys are going to see me doing some super awkward mom dancing here. Here it is. I hope you guys get a good laugh out of it. But I was jamming out to some 90s tunes, so I'm a 90s girl, and so if you guys feel me there, if you just love to jam out while you're crafting, drop a comment down below and let me know what your favorite genre is. In fact, that can be the secret question for this video. I am giving away a $100 Hobby Lobby gift card, so drop a comment down below and let me know, what are your favorite tunes? Who is your favorite artist? Maybe I need to take some tips from you guys and get some new jamming out music. So anyway, and also in total on this one, I ended up using 6 rolls of Deco mesh. So again, they're just cut in 10-inch strips. I'm bundling 3 pieces of Deco mesh together. You can curl them, or they're going to kind of naturally curl. And by curling, I just mean you take and you roll them into like a little burrito, or you can just kind of pinch them together and they're already kind of rolled up. So I hope that makes sense. Also, let me know if you guys have questions. Don't be afraid of the mesh. It makes a fun little fabulous wreath. The next thing I'm doing is I'm just going to take a zip tie and zip tie this super cute little happy pumpkin. I feel like this pumpkin can be like fall or Halloween. And then I'm going to make a really pretty bow. I'm actually going to make a couple bows. So I'm just using my easy bow maker. You guys can grab them at the craft store or on Amazon or at Deco Exchange. And I'm going to make 6-inch loops, and that'll be 12 inches for the entire length of the bow. Now, I do love the easy bow maker. When I cheat on my bows, it kind of holds it for me. So it can kind of allow me to be super lazy, which I kind of like to be when I've been doing a lot of deco mesh cutting and all of that stuff. And so I'm using some of this Dollar Tree ribbon. I use the witch hat ribbon, and then I found one roll only of this Harlequin ribbon, which gosh, I love this ribbon, you guys. I think it's so pretty, and this is all Dollar Tree ribbon. And then I'm using the candy corn ribbon. I really wish I would have been patient and done this wreath when I had like a really pretty like candy corn ribbon, but I think I'll probably have to go on Amazon and order that, and maybe I can pop some of that in, you know, once the season gets a little bit closer and I'm decorating more for fall Halloween. I don't usually decorate for Halloween until a little bit closer to the end of fall, or sometimes actually I'll just mix it all in together. I don't think there's any wrong or right way. So I'm zip tying my little bow on. I just made several layers, and again on the bow I pretty much kept all the loops 6 inches across or 12 inches wide. And I did make another bow that's exactly like the first bow to put at the base of my wreath. And then once I had that popped on, and I'm just zip tying everything on. I've gotten so addicted to zip ties. I feel like they hold a lot better than the pipe cleaners I normally use. But hey, pipe cleaners are good too. I just happen to have a lot of zip ties on hand, so I'm trying to use what I have, to be honest with you. And now I'm just making like some little scrappy ribbon loops here. So just cut your ribbons, and they're about 10 to 12 inches long. And then I'm zip tying them into the side to kind of fill this wreath out just a little bit more. So there's no real rhyme or reason, just kind of add balance by using some of the leftover ribbon. And again, that's also going to use up the rest of those ribbon rolls. And here I have my little happy joy pumpkin wreath. I feel like it's just so happy and almost kind of silly and whimsical. But I'm using some Dollar Tree pumpkins. They have orange pumpkins with the little black polka dots, and then also these little purple ornaments. Again, these are all from Dollar Tree. So this is totally a Dollar Tree wreath, and listen, I had so much fun making it. I hope you guys are inspired to try one. I was always so afraid of deco mesh, but I really have gotten so much less afraid, and I hope I'm sharing my instructions with you guys or helping you guys be less afraid. But it's super easy and you can't go wrong. It's so puffy, it almost covers up any mistakes. Oh, and Dollar Tree also has these cute little sparkly pre-made bows. I added a couple of those underneath my top bow to kind of fill it out, but it really wasn't necessary. It might have been a waste of that detail, but if you get really close up, you'll be able to see it. So anyway, I just thought it was really fun, and now I have my Halloween fall wreath already made. I really love to get as many of my wreaths made as possible before the season hits, so that way I can decorate my studio, my front door. I like to put one on my dining room door, and then also one in my kitchen. So I hope you guys are inspired and you're loving it. And if you guys look at it, it almost looks like my little wreath has on earrings. So I guess it must be a girl. The tuxedo bow, you just take the ribbon and you loop it over on itself and then pinch it in the center. And I just use a zip tie to tie it off. It made it a little chunky. I'd probably go back and use floral wire next time, but I've been crushing on zip ties recently. They just hold everything together so well. And so now I'm just going to zip tie my little tails on. So I cut some tails and just make sure you dovetail those ends, give them a nice little finish. Now I'm adding a cute little Dollar Tree sunflower to the center of it, and then just some of these cute little Dollar Tree mini mums, and that is going to be it. Now this is a super easy, fun, simple little wreath. My idea for it is to pop it into one of my 3-tiered trays. I thought that would be really cute, or just any little space that needs some jazzing up and some happy fun vibes, you guys, because I'm really crushing on these bright, beautiful colors that just bring sunshine into my heart, and I hope it does yours as well. The little Dollar Tree mini wreaths are for sale at Dollar Tree in their crafting section, and they come 2 for $1. So I just wrapped it in some of the little Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. So anyway, I hope this inspires you guys to create something beautiful for your summer decor and it lifts your spirits. Now, as always, I ask that you guys comment down below the answer to my secret question. I am giving away a Hobby Lobby gift card, $100 for one of you guys. So I'll be announcing that soon. I'll leave the details down in the description box below. But the secret question for this video is, what is your favorite fall color? I know I said it, oh my goodness, fall, but I want to know if you guys are decorating with maroons, yellows, oranges. Comment down below, let me know, drop some emojis. Let's light up this comment section with all the happy vibes and love and just goodness. And I love y'all and I thank you so much for being. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to show you all how to make a super adorable little scarecrow hat wreath. So grab one of those wreath hat witch forms from the Dollar Tree, and then you can take pretty much any ribbon of choice. I've also done these in burlap, but I'm going to use this orange ribbon from the Hobby Lobby, and I just added a dab of hot glue to the top, and then I'm winding the ribbon in and around the little hat witch form. So originally this did have tinsel on it, and actually this is leftover from last season, but you'll just remove the tinsel, and then I also removed those little prongs on the outside of it. And so just keep winding your little ribbon until you get full coverage on the hat part.
I'll give you my everything.
Now for the next part of this DIY, grab some Dollar Tree Deco mesh. I ended up using 3 rolls, and I'm cutting my mesh about 10 inches long, and then I'm going to take and just either burrito it, which you make like a little burrito roll, or you can also take and kind of scrunchy it. So this first one I actually scrunchy, but then I just kind of burritoed the rest of them, mainly because the Dollar Tree mesh kind of rolls in on itself anyway. So I hope that makes sense, but make some bundles. So I also added in some of this Dollar Tree plaid ribbon, and I just zip tied that to the end of my little wreath form here, and I used about 3 bundles per section of the wreath form, but usually I just kind of eyeball it a little bit, and if it needs, you know, more or less mesh and ribbon, I'll just kind of add more or less. I also cut my pieces in strips of ribbon about 10 inches long as well. Now I'm not super precise, you know, on this. I kind of just like to free flow with it and just have fun, but I did go where I added in the plaid ribbon every other one. So I did a bundle without the plaid ribbon and then one with it. I hope that makes sense. You guys just drop a comment down below and I'll try to answer some questions, but it's super easy. I always encourage you guys not to be afraid of deco mesh. I'm definitely not a pro by any means. I only work with it a couple times this season, but it seems like the more I play with it, the easier it gets, and you really can't mess it up, and it really makes things look really cute and full. Listen, I'm a 90s girl. I love me some big bows. So if you're on the big bow train and you love it, jump on, let's go for it and make a pretty little fall decor wreath.
Every part of me, 'cause we're in this together now, you and me together now. What's the point of living if we're scared to lose each
Another little tip I have for you when you're creating deco mesh, once you know the size of your deco mesh, I like to cut it and put it into a laundry basket because it just helps it not, the mesh likes to grab a hold of everything on my crafting table and just make a huge disaster. That's one little tip that I have that really helps me out. It keeps it contained and just kind of easy to grab, so you guys can pop on a show, put this on your coffee table or kitchen table, and just have fun with it. It does take a little bit of time, but I think the end process is really great. And again, I'm using about 3 to 4 bundles per prongs. I ended up using 3 rolls of the Dollar Tree Deco mesh and then 1 roll of the Dollar Tree plaid ribbon, and then, you know, I just continue to fill it, and I'm using zip ties to zip tie my on. I also use pipe cleaners. Either one works just fine. The next thing I'm going to do is use my Easy Bow Maker and make a cute little bow. So for the bow on the Easy Bow Maker, you want to do it 6 inches on either side or 12 inches wide. I hope that makes sense, and that way your bow can kind of pop out. And also don't forget to dovetail those ends. If you're making a really pretty pretty nice bow. You don't want to leave it hanging and just have junky ends. So that's a little tip there. And also I'm using this cute little ribbon from Amazon. Okay, this ribbon is so adorable. It came in a 4-pack and it really wasn't too pricey, but it had all different kinds of varieties in it. So I got this little gnome buffalo check plaid ribbon, and then the orange and black buffalo ribbon. And I did, on the bow sizes, I did all of the loops about 6 inches across on either side, or 12 inches total. Oh, and if you guys need a pretty good little bow video, I also do an Olivia bow, and I'll link that down in the description box of my YouTube video. So once you pull your bow off, I zip tied it in the center, I fluffied it up, and now I'm zip tying it into my wreath. So I zip tied one of these sets of bows on one end, one in the center, and then one on the other end. And this is going to make a really nice, a little awesome, fluffy, amazing wreath. And then last but not least, I am adding just a couple little like scraps of ribbon to the top of it, and I just tied those on again with a zip tie. And then I'm using some of those little Dollar Tree mini pumpkins. They're so adorable. Listen, they come in a 4-pack, same as Hobby Lobby, but they're only $1. I really feel like Dollar Tree has totally killed it this year on their fall decor. And check out this super adorable little Scarecrow wreath. So fun and fabulous, you guys. These are so easy to do. Throw that Deco mesh on there, make some big fluffy. For this Dollar Tree DIY, let me share with you guys how to jazz up those Dollar Tree witch hats. So you're going to take the little wreath form and remove the tinsel. Super easy, just cut it off the back. Then I'm going to take this buffalo check plaid fabric that I had in my craft stash and hot glue that in and around the top part of the witch hat. And then to make the witch hat a little bit cooler, I'm adding in some foil to the top. I zip tied it to the top and then wrapped the rest of the fabric around the top to give it just a little fun witchy flair. The next thing I want to do is cut 8 pieces of ribbon, and they're about in 8 to 10 inch strips, and I did 3 different ribbons for this project. I also cut up 2 rolls of Dollar Tree Deco mesh. I cut them in about 8 to 10 inch strips, and I just used what I had on hand, which was orange and brown, but it would be really cute if I had purple and black. Hey, I'm using what I've got. I'm going to make bundles now to go onto my little witch hat. So you want to take 2 pieces of mesh and 3 ribbons, layer those on top of each other, and then just zhuzh them together. Use a zip tie and just zip tie those to the outer spot of your little witch hat, and you're going to continue to fill up that whole witch hat until you get to the end. So again, I used 2 rolls of Deco mesh, 8 strips of ribbon per color, and that completed my entire witch hat wreath form. I love making these. I think they're such a great alternative to wreaths, and they're really actually, you guys, very budget friendly depending upon how much goodies you put in them. And you'll probably see my daughter off crafting to the side. She was home. I actually started this project in the evening. It took me a couple of hours. It doesn't seem that long when you're watching the video, but anyway, I had a little zhuzh to the top and then a cute little Dollar Tree sign. It says welcome to our haunted home, and then I added in some of that Deco mesh tubing. You simply just take it and tie it in a shoelace bow, and if you double it up, it gives it a little bit more bang for your buck and a little bit more fullness. The next thing I'm adding in is some purple sparkly Dollar Tree ribbon. I realized I needed some purple to add in there, and then I'm adding this beautiful jewel to the top. Natalie from totallydazzled.com sent me a bunch of beautiful jewels. If you guys love crafting jewels and they're budget friendly, and she's got a little small business, please go support her. I will leave a link in the description box below, but it's Natalie from totallydazzled.com. And then I added some cute little spiders to the top of that. And here is how our fun and fabulous little Dollar Tree witch hat wreath came out. I make one of these pretty much every season, and I'll keep it at my home, or sometimes I'll give some away to friends. But I thought it came out fun and fabulous, very budget friendly, and looks great with this fun little Dollar Tree sign and that Target pillow. the first DIY, let's make an awesome fall wreath using Dollar Tree supplies. So you're going to need about 7 or 8 bundles of fall florals. And I'm actually going to be able to get 2 projects out of these fall florals. I really love these more muted colors because I'm going for more of a neutral palette. I want to mix in some of my pinks, but then also some traditional fall too. So this is kind of my spin on that. Now, with these little smaller leaves, I'm just going to hot glue them in and around the base of the wreath. That's going to fill the wreath out. And so you just add hot glue to the stem. I also pushed the little stems of the leaves all the way up to make them very short because I didn't want them to be poking out super long. I went all the way around the entire wreath form with this set of leaves. So I probably used about 2 full bundles of the leaves for just edging the rim. And I wasn't for sure if I was going to have enough, but these were really good size. They were really beautiful. And I felt like they were pretty high quality too. Now I'm going in now with a kind of whitish pinkish leaves. Can you believe these are so pretty, you guys? And I actually individually, sorry, I'm stumbling on my words, cut these apart and then individually glued each one on. And I did 2 layers. So I went around the whole styrofoam wreath base and I kind of tried to glue them on where you couldn't see the green. If you're working with limited stems, you could also paint your styrofoam wreath base. Just use some paint, craft paint or chalk paint, either one is good, but never use spray paint on styrofoam. It will melt it. I found that out quickly the hard way years ago when I became a crafting little queen. So don't use it on styrofoam, but you guys can use chalk paint or regular craft paint. Will work just fine. Now, I'm going to continue to glue leaves in and around the base of the styrofoam. And again, you guys can still kind of see some of the green, which we really do want to cover that up. Another idea would be to add in some moss if you guys needed like a little filler for that. But definitely I had enough with these 7 bundles. I think I had 7 bundles, maybe 8, maybe buy an extra bundle or 2. Once I started working on this wreath, I was really excited because I realized I was going to have plenty. Now, the other thing for this to think about is you guys could easily make this into a centerpiece. How cute would that be? Just add a candle in the center or a little lantern. Dollar Tree has some little $3 lanterns that actually fit perfectly down in here. And I almost grabbed that, but I don't really need extra lanterns, so I wasn't super concerned about that. But I'm just going to add in more leaves and then some cute little pumpkins. Now, I used 4 pumpkins on this and they came already on the little leaf stem, which I thought was wonderful. And then I'm going to save 2 for my next project that's going to be coming up, but just gently glue those on, and then you can add a little hanger with a zip tie or a little burlap ribbon. I didn't add a bow to this, you guys. Surprise, surprise. You all know how much I love my bows. I don't know why. I really just felt like I wanted this to be a little bit more simple. This is going to go on my pantry in my kitchen. And so that space I want to kind of not be like a big showstopper space. I just want it to have a little quiet spot there. So I didn't add a bow, but let me know if you guys think I should go back in and add a bow, because now that I'm talking about bows, I'm getting the itch for a bow. Okay, here's the idea with you guys could put a candle in it, or you could just hang it as is. Now I have a little command hook, super easy to do. Just hook it on there and bam, you have a fabulous little wreath on a total budget. You could even just set it around. They're so lightweight, which I love. You could easily just put a push pin into your wall and hang it so easily with a push pin. But I love these neutral colors. I think it looks beautiful mixed in with your traditional oranges, and even with the black and white and the pink. So very versatile on these colors, which I'm kind of really loving. And I think Dollar Tree knocked it out of the park with these florals. What do you guys think? I'm loving it. DIY, we're going to make a beautiful fall swag. I'm going to take an evergreen Christmas tree garland and simply zip tie some pampas grass to the top, and then layered over that, I'm zip tying a set of Dollar Tree leaves. The next thing I'm going to do is go in with this Dollar Tree stacked pumpkin sign. This is in your local Dollar Tree. It was in the Halloween section, and it's $1.25. The next thing I'm adding in is some fall leaves. Now we're going to take some of this ribbon and make a bow. And I actually shared this with you guys on a Facebook Live. So if you guys want to go to my Facebook page, I do a slower, more drawn out version where I'm live and you can see my face. But we're just going to take and make a bow and simply loop it over on itself. This checkered ribbon is from Amazon, and this candy cane ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. I actually, when I did the live, I ran out of the checkered ribbon to do this one for you guys on YouTube. So anyway, we're just going to take and stack those two ribbon loops together and then zip tie them to the base of our pumpkin topiary. And then I am going to add in some tails. So I'm going to take and dovetail my ends. You're going to simply cut your ribbon in upwards direction. And I'm using this Mackenzie Childs ribbon. It is so pretty. I just left those at a slice. And then I'm going to take this pretty little Hobby Lobby ribbon and I'm going to make a shoelace bow for this one. So a shoelace bow, you simply tie a bow that you would tie like you would be making your shoelaces. I'm going to zip tie all of this together, and then bam, we have a fun little bow at the base of our pretty fall swag. And again, make sure you guys go check out my Facebook page where I'm doing some lives for you. I was so nervous to go live. I'm just so used to doing voiceovers and just kind of cutting and editing out all the stuff you guys probably aren't interested in seeing. But I hot glued a little Dollar Tree pumpkin to the bow, and then I'm adding in some pretty these are just some kind of copper colored pieces in there from Hobby Lobby. So you can see I just added some pretty leaves. Dig into your craft stash, use what you have. And then the next thing I wanted to do was add a fun little bow to the top of this. So I'm going to take some more of that checkered ribbon. I just simply looped it over on itself. I had some Dollar Tree ribbon left over, and then I'm using some candy corn ribbon, and that again is from Hobby Lobby. So all I'm doing is making loops. So you just take the ribbon, loop it over on itself, and pinch it in the center. I found the center of my bow, and I'm going to zip tie that off. If you guys need help making bows, I have a big bow making video on my channel. So, and then if you watch my page at all, you'll know I make tons of bows for everything. Now let's make some cute little tails. Simply grab some ribbon, dovetail those ends, and tie that off into your bow. I'm adding in a pretty little pumpkin to the top part of that, and here is how everything is looking so far. Here is how they turned out. So the one on the left I made with you guys on the Facebook Live, and the one on the right I made with you guys on YouTube. So I actually made two of these in one day, and there I am in the background. And you guys don't even want to see the disaster of my kitchen after crafting for this video for 2 days straight. Those dishes, they get left in the sink, I'm telling you. Anyway, I finally got everything cleaned up before my daughter got home, and congratulations to her. She got homecoming made for football homecoming court. So guess what we're going to get to do this week? We're going to go dress shopping. So excited for that, you guys. And thank you for everybody that did join my Facebook Live today. This is Monday. You're watching this video on Tuesday, but I'm hoping to do another Facebook Live. So you guys need to be checking that Facebook page. And there's my little puppy dog, Benji Bear. He's all dressed up for you guys with this cute little fun scarf. He's so funny. He heard me talking about Alyssa, my daughter, and so he got all excited, and see how his tail's wagging. He thinks she's going to be coming through. For this Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make a super easy Dollar Tree Halloween witch hat. This is super budget friendly and amazing and fun. So from the Dollar Tree, I have one of their witch hat wreath forms, and I'm just going to use some of this super cute little Dollar Tree cat fabric, and I'm just going to hot glue the cat fabric in and around the top part of the hat, and that is going to give my hat a little cute base. The next thing I want to do is take 2 rolls of Dollar Tree Deco mesh, and that's all I use for this project, surprisingly. Also, the Dollar Tree Deco mesh can be a little bit frayed, so I had to change scissors here, but I'm cutting the mesh about 10-inch strips, and honestly, I'm not like super picky on making it exact. You can make it exact, but it can give or take, you know, a little bit here and there. So once I got my my whole roll of Dollar Tree Deco mesh cut, I went in and I cut some of the black mesh. This is the candy corn mesh from Dollar Tree. But really for Halloween, you could use purple, orange, black, you know, whatever suits your fancy. I wasn't able to find a lot of the Dollar Tree Deco mesh this year, so I'm using what I had left over from last year. The next thing I want to do is take some of this cute little Dollar Tree ribbon and just cut it. And this is about 10-inch strips. And honestly, again, I wasn't a super careful measure on this. And I finally did order some craft scissors. My craft scissors are having the hardest time. And I'm sure it's because I'm cutting mesh and things I shouldn't cut with them. I ordered several pairs so I can write mesh on one and then not use it to cut other things that I'm not supposed to be cutting. Anyway, I'm taking 2 bundles of the mesh and then one of my little ribbon, and I'm zip tying it to the base of my witch hat with this zip tie, and then I'm just going to tie it off, pull it, and then give it a bit of a fluff it off. And then I'm going to cut the little plastic string on there, and I did also use some of the black and white spider web ribbon on this as well, and I did every other one. At first I thought I was just going to use the candy corn ribbon, but then I realized I might not quite have enough, so I ended up using 2 rolls of Dollar Tree Deco mesh and then 2 rolls of the ribbon. So this is super fun. You guys can get as full and fluffy with this as you want. Now, in seasons past, I really used tons of mesh. I think I've used 4 rolls on the base of these hats, but I really realized that that not making it quite as full is sufficient as well. You don't have to go totally all in unless you just really want a really thick witch hat. So it's up to you. I add bows in, so that also fills it out quite a bit. But just in case you really wanted to make this super budget friendly, maybe you couldn't find as much of the mesh or whatever, I just always make sure that you can't see through the mesh rolls and the ribbon. Now I am going to go in with some orange ribbon to kind of mix in the little cap part, but I do feel like witches are kind of eclectic, and so I just wanted to make it feel kind of a little bit fun and funky and eclectic. And I'm going to take now and measure the ribbon. If you measure it from your hand to your elbow, that's about 12 inches, and that's going to make the perfect bow. So this ribbon is from Dollar Tree, and I'm just looping it over on itself 4 times. This is the best, most easiest bow you guys are ever going to find. So trim that off and then set something heavy on top of it so it doesn't unravel. And then you're going to do that with your next roll of ribbon. Again, this is also from Dollar Tree, and you're just going to loop it over on itself about 4 times. And I want to say that this is about an 8 to 10 inch on the smaller ribbon. And then you're just going to find a spot in between your mesh, and then you're going to zip tie your pretty bow on. And this is what I'm talking about with, you really don't have to have it overfilled with mesh. I decided to use the rest of my ribbon and make a smaller kind of mini bow and put that a little bit further down on my wreath. It did kind of throw off the balance of oranges, but I feel like it came out really cute anyway. And I can also go in and just kind of play with it a little bit. And I used some of the leftover ribbon to make kind of just like a little sloppy bow at the top. I added in some of this cute black and white pumpkins and some of the cute little orange jack-o'-lanterns from Dollar Tree. And bam! We have the fabulous, most cutest, witchiest witch hat wreath ever. And I think the little kitty cat fabric, that's from Dollar Tree, you guys. They're having little fabric things, so check for that. But I hope you guys love it and are inspired to make a cute little spooky, not so spooky witch hat wreath for your house for Halloween or fall. Wreath on a total budget, so grab one of those Dollar Tree signs. I chose this larger pumpkin topiary sign and then just a small mini wreath, and then you're gonna need 1 roll of the Dollar Tree Deco mesh. If you can't find the Deco mesh, grab some at your local craft store. This is my sweet friend India again crafting along with me. I love having somebody in the studio. I get a little lonely crafting at home, and she's trying to help me get my home ready for my fall home tour. So what we're doing with this mesh is cutting the mesh into 12-inch strips. The next thing we want to do is grab whatever ribbon you love. I'm using this spooky ribbon from Dollar Tree, and then some candy corn ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and then some check ribbon that I got off of Amazon. But we want to cut this in about 8 to 10 inch strips. So I cut all the mesh up, and then I cut 8 pieces of ribbon for our decor. So what you want to do is bundle your mesh together in your fingers. And India has never really used Deco mesh, and I was like, don't be afraid of it. And so this gave her so much confidence. She's a traveling nurse, so this was super fun to craft with somebody who, you know, doesn't craft very often. It just brought me so much joy. So again, I'm hoping to teach some workshops one day, and it showed me that I can also teach, you know, in real life person, not just, you know, showing a video to you guys. So anyway, you're going to take and bundle your ribbon on top of your mesh, and you guys can really choose any ribbons you love. This is what I had on hand. To the top of our little wreath form, we're going to zip tie our bundle of mesh and ribbons. Don't be afraid of this mesh, and don't be afraid of the ribbon, you guys. You can totally do this. Now this time we're going to take and we're going to double up on our mesh. It's totally optional, but it's going to save you a little bit on ribbon. So we're using 2 pieces of mesh and then adding in the layers of ribbon. And you're just going to continue to do that until you have all the bundles made, and then you're just going to attach them to the outside edge of my wreath form. I've shared with you guys this swag kind of before, but we've never done one with a pumpkin, and I just thought that this turned out really fun, and it's super easy and budget friendly. So maybe you don't have the time to do an entire wreath, and maybe you don't even have the money for the supplies for a whole wreath. So this took 1 roll of Deco mesh, ribbon of choice, and then a large Dollar Tree sign and some zip ties. I'm really crushing on using zip ties because it really attaches things really, really well. It makes it very friendly to wind. We've had so many storms lately this year. I'm really conscious of making sure things are staying nice and attached, but you guys could also use pipe cleaners. I used those for years. My fingers, I'm having a little bit more trouble with my fingers now. I've got some carpal tunnel going on. As many years as I've been crafting, not surprised. Oh, and we got these matching aprons off of Amazon. So India and I have been friends since we were in the 3rd grade. So since we were like 8 years old, so 30 something years maybe. Anyway, I'm aging myself, maybe 40 years. I don't know. But here is how it is turning out. Now Dollar Tree is selling these little candy corn picks. I think these are so adorable. I decided to add these in since we also had some candy corn ribbon in here. And again, the candy corn ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. Shopping with my sweet friend Caleb, he showed me that candy corn ribbon and I was in love. I actually do love candy corn. My whole family does. A lot of you guys, like, I think the jury's out on candy corn is either a hit or a miss, but it's a hit in our home. So anyway, here is how it is turning out, and I think India did fabulous. Again, she just is popping up here once a week when she can to kind of help me out, help me get my home ready for my little fall home tour, and really just to hang out. You know, as we get older, I think that time with friends is even more and more precious, and our kids are kind of growing up and moving out of the house, so we're kind of like, what can we do now? But I have a group of ladies that I have been friends with. We call ourselves the DIYS sisters. So this is one of my besties. And maybe I'll do a workshop with the DIYS sisters and hopefully you guys one day. So here is how it turned out. So fun, fabulous. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to show you guys how to make a super adorable scarecrow wreath using Dollar Tree supplies. So grab one of their witch hat wreath forms, and I just used a placemat, cut it apart and wrap that around the top to make the brown part, and then added some burlap. Next, I'm going to cut up 2 rolls of Dollar Tree Deco mesh, and I had a gold roll and a candy corn roll, and I just cut them in about 8 to 10 inch strips, and then I cut 8 to 10 inch strips of some more of the Dollar Tree tablecloth or placemat to get the brown, and then some burlap ribbon, and then I'm just going to layer those on top of 2 bundles of mesh and tie that on with the zip tie. So you're going to take and bundle 2 pieces of mesh, layer the brown and then the lighter brown or burlap on top of that, and then zip tie it. I'm zip tying these all to the top rung of the little fall scarecrow witch hat. So you're going to continue to add your bundles until you get a nice full fluffy group of layers of bundles. And again, 2 rolls of Dollar Tree Deco mesh, and you're going to cut 8 to 10 inch strips of 2 different types of ribbon, or 3, whatever ribbon you guys have on hand. I used a placemat for a part of my ribbon, but I did want it to match the top of that, and hey, that's what I had on hand. The next thing I'm going to do is take one of these little Dollar Tree $1.25 scarecrows. I did cut the pants off and take the stick off, and then I'm just going to hot glue that to the top part of my little wreath. He's just poking out saying hi. Then I had this pretty ribbon from the thrift store. It was $3, such a score. I'm going to take and make my little bow hacks. You're going to take and measure your bow from your hand to your elbow. That's going to make about a 12-inch bow, and you're going to want to loop it over on itself 4 to 5 times until you get a nice little full fluffy bow. Try to use wired ribbon and just use whatever ribbon you have on hand, but you want a pretty decent roll of ribbon if you're going to add bows into this part. So I'm going to do 4 of these bows, and I do have this pretty plaid ribbon from Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to zip tie this to the end, 2 in the center and then 1 on the other end. Make sure you fluffy dovey out your ribbon. Fluffy duffy out. I'm not sure fluffy duffy is a word, but it is in my book if you guys have been with me for a while. Anyway, I'm going to make 3 more of these bows, zip tie them into the center, and fluffy duffy them out. Again, fluffing out your bow and your deco mesh really helps your project look a little bit nicer. I always fluff it when I get it on my wreath, and then after I kind of hang it. You guys might notice I'm dressed up like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. I thought that would be perfect. I had this costume actually left over from last year, and I'm going to use it again this year, but I thought it would be perfect for this video. And I actually have a little Toto dog, my Toto dog Benji Bear. And here is how the wreath turned out. We are saying hi to you guys. Benji Bear says hi. He loves all his puppy dog fans. We thank y'all for being here. It's a blessing and an honor, and I hope you guys are loving our cute little match. And I even popped a bow on Tree DIY. I want to share with you all how to make a late summer, early fall hula hoop pool noodle wreath. Okay, so you're going to take a hula hoop from the Dollar Tree and a pool noodle, and I used my box cutter, just cut a strip down the center, and then actually I did use 2 pool noodles, actually about a pool noodle and a half. And I just ran those down the entire hula hoop, and that created a really large wreath form. And I'm talking like pretty oversized. If you guys like a really, dramatic large wreath form, I wrapped it in burlap, and now I'm going to share with you guys how I took and made this into a late summer kind of early fall wreath. Okay, so from our local Red Racks, actually it's about 45 minutes north of us, but it's a really great thrift store. I found this beautiful leaf garland, and it's not even a full garland. It's just kind of a leaf greenery piece, like leaf greenery piece is what I'm trying to say. I took this and I just zip tied it to one side of my pool noodle / hula hoop burlap wreath base. You guys could also do this to a grapevine wreath base. The next thing I did after I zip tied in 3 places the leaf garland, I just poked the Dollar Tree sunflowers. I used 3 bundles and I pushed them into the wreath base, and you can actually push them in, like they'll fit directly in. The last time I did this, I zip tied my florals. This is going to go inside, so no worries there. Now you might want to zip tie it or attach it with ribbon if it is going to go outside and you're going to have a lot of windy weather. But I also use some of these Dollar Tree pretty mini mums, and then some of the little Dollar Tree daisies, and these are kind of the ones that have like the burlap in them. The next thing I want to do is make a really cute little ribbon. So I'm just going to take and make a quick Olivia bow. So you just take the ribbon and loop it over on itself. Now I found this adorable sunflower ribbon at Hobby Lobby. It's here 2021. So check your local Hobby Lobby for this ribbon, or grab some online or at whatever craft store you love, or you could even use some buffalo check, whatever floats your boat, you guys go for it. Okay, so once I had the ribbon looped over on itself, I just found the center of the ribbon, and then I'm taking this zip tie and I'm going to zip tie my little bow together. You could also use a pipe cleaner or some floral wire. Anything will work really, just to keep that ribbon on there. Now the next thing I want to do is just kind of gently fluff my loops out, and I do usually fluff my loops like multiple times. So the first time I'll kind of fan it all out once I get the bow made, then I'll pop my bow into my arrangement, and I did zip tie the bow to the little wreath here, and that's going to keep it on there really, really well. And then I'm going to fluff it again just to see where my loops are at, how big they are, and make sure everything's cohesive and proportionate to my arrangement or floral wreath here. The next thing I did was I just took and cut some tails, and I did hot glue the tails into the center, and then I kind of felt like they needed a little bit more reinforcement, so I did use some smaller ribbon and just kind of tie those tails in. The next thing I'm doing is I'm just kind of accordion style making it this little center kind of flowy thing with my tails. And then I did add this burlap bow to the center of this. Now this burlap bow was on my original hula hoop wreath. And so I just added that directly to the center, and it's just an Olivia bow, and I fluffed it up, and there you guys have that. Nobody would ever know that this is a pool noodle wreath. And let me tell you, I feel like for the size of this, it's really high end and it's very budget friendly. A couple of bundles of sunflowers, a couple little mums, and a couple of those daisies, along with some leaves. Now Dollar Tree is going to carry some leaf picks that look like this, or you could go to your local craft store, grab some ribbon, have fun with it, get creative. You should be able to do this on a pretty good little budget. And also, if you don't want to use the pool noodle, you can just wrap a hula hoop. I shared that with you guys on a summer wreath as well. So here it is, so fun and absolutely fabulous on a total budget. Dollar Tree DIY. We're going to make a super adorable pumpkin wreath. So you're going to need 2 of the pumpkin wreath forms from Dollar Tree, and whatever fabric you love, you're going to lay the fabric on top of the first pumpkin wreath and then lay the second pumpkin wreath on top of that. So you're basically just going to press your fabric in between those 2 wreath forms, and then I just trimmed mine out with about 1 inch or so left in the fabric. You guys could do a little bit more or a little bit less, but I wanted a little bit more because I can make mistakes sometimes. Then you want to grab some zip ties and zip tie your wreath form at the top, at the bottom, and then on the 2 sides. And we're going to hot glue the fabric in and around those little zip ties. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be really adorable. You're not going to be able to see them. Trim your zip ties off and then start hot gluing the fabric around the edges of the pumpkin wreath form. Super easy to do. You guys could even add an extra nautical rope step to this if you wanted to run nautical rope down the front of little pumpkin wire wreath forms. I didn't have any on hand, and I'm trying to keep things as budget friendly as possible for my fall decor, so I'm just rolling with what I have. But very carefully, again, just glue all that fabric in and around the base of that pumpkin wreath form, and that way you can't see any type of fabric. Another fun idea for this one is to add some fall foliage at the top. Is what I did. I added some cute little fall leaves, also from Dollar Tree. And then I dug into my craft stash and I used these pretty eucalyptus branches. I feel like this is something you would see in a high-end decor store for much more than about, $10. I think this is what it would probably cost to make. I also had some ribbon on hand, so I'm just going to make a quick little loopy bow. Take your ribbon, loop it over on itself 6 times, zip tie it in the center, and then you can just hot glue it to wherever you want to place your pretty little bow. You guys know I love big bows, and I cannot lie. I've had this ribbon forever. It was originally from Kirkland's, and magically I found it at one of the local thrift stores. You guys could also make this into a spooky, not so spooky Halloween pumpkin wreath too. That just dawned on me. If you had, maybe some orange or black ribbon, and then you wanted to just add in kind of like some little spooky spiders or bats or something, that would be fun to do. So I just went ahead and added my cute little bow, fluffied it up, and then bam, we have the most fabulous, gorgeous little pumpkin wreath form. Also, if you wanted to use orange fabric, it would make it look more pumpkin-y. Again, I didn't have any orange fabric on hand. I did have the black and white, and we're just going to use what we have. I'm going to hang it on my little pantry door, and how adorable is this? So fun, fabulous, and very budget friendly. Okay, I love the stacked pumpkin in the urn from Mackenzie Childs, but the $998 price tag, not so much. So I ran to Dollar Tree and grab some of these buckets. These are a 3-tier bucket. What I want to do is create that checkerboard pattern. So I'm taking the tape and I'm just making stripes going down the pumpkin and then around. Now, normally I would hand paint the entire thing, but I didn't have any black paint for this project. So I grabbed the black paint in my craft stash and just went ahead and taped it off. And I'm hoping for the best. And here is the reveal. I did pretty good. Usually I don't always do this good with my spray painting. The next thing I wanted to do was create the checkerboard effect, so I'm just using some chalk paint. This I found at Walmart, and I'm just going to fill in the checkerboard parts. So you could leave it black, white, and orange, but to replicate the Mackenzie Childs tiered pumpkin, theirs is a black and white one, so I'm going to do my best to do that. And again, I'm just coloring in the white spots. So once I have all the white colored in, I'm going back in with some of this black chalk paint. I noticed that it was more of a gray, even though it says black chalk paint, and it was just a little bit drippy. So again, I didn't have black paint on hand. Since then, I have run to Walmart, grabbed black paint so I can do some better checks for you guys. But hey, we're gonna go for it. And also, I just want to tell you guys, really, when you're painting the Mackenzie Child inspired projects, and really any projects in general, I was actually talking to my friend Jake about this the other day. When something is hand painted, you want to see the real lines of it being hand painted. We don't want it to look perfect. It doesn't have to be cookie cutter. Mine definitely is not. And also, if you examine and observe any of the pieces from the Mackenzie Child's Royal Check line, they have a lot of the paint that's pulled in to the rest of the paint. So anyway, you guys can see it kind of got a little drippy, so I did have to clean that up. I'm also going in with some of this gold paint and a little bit of the chalked black paint to kind of give the rest of the pumpkin some dimension. Here is the final look. Now, I just set it out here for display purposes only. I suggest that this be used inside with all of the work that goes into it, or definitely seal it with some type of waterproof sealer, but I think we did pretty good for a $5 bucket from Dollar Tree. DIY, we're going to create a fall centerpiece using a pool noodle. I'm simply going to cut the pool noodle down the center and use 1/2 of it. So you want it to sit flat on your table. The next thing I'm going to do is use this greenery I had left over from last summer decorating for a friend of mine's wedding. I'm simply going to add the greenery to the pool noodle and just using some floral pick stems, pick that in. I'm going to use the other part of the greenery that I cut off and then add in some pumpkins. So these are just pumpkins from Walmart and Dollar Tree. And again, I'm using a floral stem. I poked that into the bottom of the pumpkin, super easy. And then I'm just going to hot glue them so they stay nice and in place and pop them into my pool noodle. Here is what we have so far. Now think about this. You all can really get creative and customize this centerpiece to suit your decor. My idea for this is to have something that is removable so you can take it on and off your table while it's on display looking pretty, but then if you want to have some room in the center of your table, you can easily remove it. I'm adding in some fall leaves, some Dollar Tree mums, and some beautiful florals from Hobby Lobby. This is everything I had left over in my craft stash. I'm simply picking it in piece by piece, adding hot glue so it'll stay. I found this pretty little rose garden canister from the thrift store, and so I added some of those roses in as well to make it nice and romantic. Now I'm going to take my easy bow maker and some pretty ribbon. I'm using this beautiful fall plaid color, and the easy bow maker is going to hold the center point of my ribbon as I create this bow. It's going to be a 7-inch bow to start out with on either side, and then I'm going a little bit smaller with each loop. I've recently been diagnosed with carpal tunnel in my right hand. It's pretty severe, so using this easy bow maker is really helping me make pretty bows, and you can find them on Amazon at any craft store. I'm also using some ribbon that I found at the thrift store, mixed in with some Kirkland's ribbon, and really just created a fun little fall bow that matched in with all of my pretty florals. I'm going to take a pipe cleaner from Dollar Tree and tie that off in the center, super easy, and then I'm just going to pop it into my pretty fall floral. I really love this idea because I used all of the florals that I had left over from decorating some of the main spaces in my home, and so I have not had to buy any florals this year, believe it or not. I had a lot of things that I was already able to use on hand. I added this in with this beautiful table setting, and I think it's super elegant. It's also really nice because guests can talk to each other without having a massive floral piece in the center. My kiddos commented on how much they loved it, so it's fun, fabulous, and pretty budget friendly. So in my dining room, I got really fall festive with the fall chandelier, the centerpiece, and the beautiful swag in the corner on my pretty little thrift store lamp. And the majority of what you see was collected at flea markets, thrift stores, and all of that fun stuff, including my dining set I got at a thrift store. So I love repurposing, reusing, and collecting things on a budget, and I will share with you guys how to do this beautiful garden chandelier that's blooming from my chandelier and the little swag, both using pool noodles florals and some Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby supplies. So much easier than you could ever imagine. And I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful tablescape and my pretty little centerpiece that's pretty budget friendly and fun. Let's create a stunning fall floral using items from the thrift store and the bottom of my craft stash. So from the thrift store, I had this beautiful little pedestal bowl. I had painted it white over the summer. Now I'm going to add in a Dollar Tree styrofoam piece and then top that with a pumpkin. Now to get my pumpkin to stay in there, I'm going to add some hot glue and a floral, just a floral stem pick. It doesn't have the flower on it. So this is a great little hack to get your pumpkins to stay where you need them to stay. And we want it to stay in the center of this centerpiece. Now, my rule of thumb for doing florals is I always want to start with my greenery first. So I'm going to pop just some random greenery. In fact, this greenery actually had flowers on the end of it. I had to cut down the little ends so you couldn't see that part, but it's just going to be the base layer of our floral. So you're really not going to see it, but we do need greenery to be able to layer our flowers on top of. That's how it is in nature, and that's how it's going to be looking the most beautiful when you're doing your flower arrangements. I also added some of my little paper bag in and around my styrofoam piece because the styrofoam piece didn't totally fill out the floral. Now I had gathered pine cones in and around my home and baked them, and these are some of those. So I'm going to add in some of my baked pine cones, and then this is a pretty, this actually has purples in it, but look at this pumpkin, okay? The pumpkin has purples, it has beautiful, you know, deeper reds, it has oranges, browns, whites. So pull from all of those brilliant fall colors. Fall is not just orange, even though I love the beautiful color orange and I think it looks so beautiful for fall. We can really though step outside of our comfort zone and bring a little bit more depth to our fall florals. Now I'm adding in some of these Christmas berries. It pained me actually to cut these apart, but I had to do it, you guys. I just had to have them in this arrangement, and you're gonna see why. It just turns out so stunning. Now you guys could stop here. It looks really beautiful right here. If you want simple, stop here, but you guys know me, I keep going. This is how I always even created my creations when I sold on Etsy. So I'm just continuing to add in more beautiful florals. I'm layering in some Christmassy, almost Christmassy reds, but they're a deep kind of more maroonish burgundy. Sorry for all of the nose. I'm making really funny noses. I was like, it looks like I'm a bunny rabbit just wiggling my nose around. I have terrible allergies right now this time of year, so it's all I could do not to keep stopping and blowing my nose, but I kept going with it. And again, I'm layering in the white florals because I have a white pedestal base. There is some creams and whites in my pumpkin, and I have a lot of white in my home. So look at how it just looks. I mean, this is a really, I would say this is an artistic floral arrangement. It's more off the cuff. This is the type I really love to create where it's just so full. It looks like something out of, you know, remember the old Victoria magazine in the 90s where they just had really beautiful full florals? I love that look. I am a 90s gal, so forgive me, but that's what we're working with here, and that's what I love. I love a little bit of a Victorian flair. I'm more of a maximalist when it comes to my design, so at any point, you guys feel free to stop in your arranging and call it good. Now, I do want to add some height back up to the back of my arrangement. So I added in more berries, more greenery, and then just more of my fall florals. Now you can tell that I am using kind of a 3-point design. So in my design, I have my berries in 3 different places. I have my fall leaves in 3 different places. I have my red florals in 3 different places. That way it has a bit of symmetry to it. So if you're going to get this wild with the design, which I do feel like this is a little bit wild with my color combinations, you know, you want to add them in threes kind of. Okay, I'm going to take and make a super easy loopy bow. Just take that ribbon, loop it over on itself. I popped it into my arrangement and bam, here is the finished product. Now here's how I'm going to style it. I have this antique tray that I got at the thrift store. I think my mom left this cake plate at my house. Mom, I love this cake plate. If you can spare it, I want to keep it. And then I just layered my floral on top of it. I added a couple real little pumpkins to the base of it, and boom, we have a fabulous, beautiful fall floral. I didn't spend any money to create this. I already had just all the ramblings that are at the bottom of my craft stash. So if you guys have that going on, it's not over yet. Dig out some of your summer florals, dig out some of your Christmas florals, and mix them all together. That's kind of what I did to create this look. There I am, and I love y'all. Thank you so much for being here. We have another floral to create. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Elegant fall wreath. These are going to be more traditional colors and using some natural elements. I'm starting out with this grapevine wreath base and some greenery that I had left over from some of my summer crafting. I'm simply going to hot glue it into the wreath, and then I am adding wire around the greenery to hold it in place. To add a beautiful natural element to this fall wreath, I gathered some pine cones outside while walking my little puppy dog. They were just in a pile next to the street, and you know, they had kind of dried out a little bit, but I baked them at about 250 degrees for an hour just to get all the little buggies out, depending upon the size of the pine cones. And I also added in some baked oranges to this wreath. So I added several pine cones to each section of the wreath, and then I'm adding in these beautiful fake fall oranges. I'm going to tuck them in and around behind the pine cones and underneath the greenery. If you all look outside in nature, you're going to see that your fall leaves are tucked in with your greenery, and I still have pink flowers blooming, but I have maple leaves that are turning their colors. So I feel like nature has all the colors mixed in, and that's what brings that natural element in. I'm also going to add in some dried oranges to this beautiful wreath. Now comes my favorite part, the bow making. I'm simply going to take this ribbon and loop it over on itself. I'm actually repurposing and reusing some ribbon from last season, and I'm going to share with you guys how you can give your ribbon some ribbon rehab. So I'm going to take these little loopy bows that I just folded over on themselves and then zip tie them together. And then the best part is, you guys don't skip this part. It's the most important part, is fluffing out your bows. I'm going to attach that with a zip tie and add in some tails, and then don't forget to dovetail the ends of those ribbons, and then we really have a beautiful wreath. This was so budget friendly, especially if you'll have some natural elements. around your yard. If you don't, that's okay. You can always grab some potpourri and use some fall potpourri. That is going to go a long way. Here is how it turned out, and I am going to use this in my entryway table. I can't wait to share with you guys how I'm going to be decorating that for fall. Okay, so for this DIY, we're going to create the fall garland that I'm going to put over my doorway, and I'm going to use this pool noodle and cut it into 3 different sections. I want to attach the garland to the pool noodle, and I want to make sure that it doesn't show through, so I just took a little bit of gold spray paint and went ahead and spray painted over the pool noodle. My buddy Jake taught me how to do that. You guys are going to go back and watch some of our videos, but I'm just taking this garland that I found at Hobby Lobby on my shopping trip with my sweet friend Caleb, and I'm just attaching the garland to the pool noodle with some zip ties, and then I'm going to take some extra picks and just kind of pick them in to the garland. The pool noodle allows the garland to kind of lay flat against the top part of my doorway, and it also allows me for something to pick in some different extra goodies into and attach my bows to. The next thing I want to do is take my easy bow maker and this pretty ribbon. I also found this at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to use this beautiful orange copper color, this leaf print color, and just a tiny bit of Mackenzie Childs ribbon. I love the ribbon, but it's so expensive, so I'm just taking and I just cut a small piece and added that into the center part of my bow. And then I'm going to add in some of this pretty ribbon that I found at the thrift store. I love my easy bow maker. It makes it so much easier to hold bows. And then I'm just going to take a zip tie and tie that part off. Now I'm going to go ahead and hang this over my doorway. I have 3 nails already attached to the top part of my doorway that I'm going to zip tie my garland to, and I do have to hang my garland a little bit extra over my door because the screen door comes so close to the top part of my door that the garlands always get caught in them and blows my little screen door around. So then I took 2 pieces of the garland. So I bought 2 garlands total and I cut one in half. So here is the half part, and I just made 2 little swags, and I also attached them to the little pool noodles. And again, that keeps it from banging around against my house and gives me something extra to pick goodies into. So I'm taking that leaf garland that Caleb and I found at Hobby Lobby, and I just cut it into sections, and I'm going to piece that in to the original garland, and it kind of lightened things up a little bit. And then I'm going to add in my bows, and I ended up adding in 3 sets of bows to this garland. And here is my kitty cat Tinky. She wants to say hi to you guys. Here is the final look on how I put everything together using my Hobby Lobby goodies. I did add height to my pumpkins. I put the basket pumpkin in the back, but what do you guys think? Should I add the orange pumpkin to the back and pull the basket pumpkin down? I definitely also need to get probably some sturdier little urns than the one that I made using Dollar Tree goodies, but it did give it some height. So there is that. I really love how everything turned out. This is pretty different, I feel like, from how I usually create my fall garlands. I feel this is a little bit more royal and elegant. Usually I go for kind of more of a farmhouse style, but I do feel like it has kind of some farmhouse elements in it, as well as some Mackenzie Childs elements. Now, originally when I bought my front door mat, I thought I was going to be doing an all neutral front fall door, and then I went with a lot more bolder colors. So let me know if you guys think I should change that mat out and do something black and white. I hate to do that because I think it's really cute. I do love the neutral, but I'm also wondering how it's going to hold up once things start to get a little bit more muddy and the weather begins to change around here. But let me know what your favorite part of this garland and this video is. I love sharing with you guys so many different ideas on a budget, and I had so much fun creating this fall front porch. I did put some greenery on the back of my little Dollar Tree topiary that I made. So let me know what you guys think about that. I really want to add more bows and even some Christmas ornaments to it. But let me tell you guys, this took 2 days to complete and I'm still not finished. I have more pumpkins I'm going to paint. I need to add more black and white pumpkins. I painted thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafting and decorating adventure. It's such a true blessing and honor to have each and every one of you all here. For those of you all that have just clicked on this video, welcome. I'm Olivia's Romantic Home. I'm a DIY crafting mama and I just have a passion for sharing crafting and decorating on a budget. You guys don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. I also love to just share little fun things to do around your house, like cooking, tidying up, and a devotional with you guys. Now listen, I am hosting a brand new devotional with you guys with my sweet friend Stacy. She reached out to me and was like, can I do a giveaway on your channel? I'm like, of course you can. This devotional is called He Whispers Your Name. It's by Sherry Hill. Stacy sent this to me originally and got me going on reading a devotional for you guys. So thank you, Stacy, for hosting this giveaway. So excited for this. I'm going to give away 3 of these, and all you guys have to do is comment down below what is your favorite scripture or encouraging word. Let's light up this comment section with positivity, because as women, our hearts are so tender, you know, and guys too, honestly, but we need that extra little love and support from our lady friends. We need a little bit of extra love and support just in general, because we are the nurturers. We're the ones trying to just keep everything together. So anyway, I have been reading in this devotional. Now I backtracked a little bit. If you guys are with me, I did backtrack a little bit because of everything that was going on down in Texas. And so we are actually on February 17th, disheartened. And I'm going to finish this little chapter probably and then go back to where we were. So this one's called Disheartened. It says, I know that you are desperate and in need of direction. I know that your brokenness challenges your faith in more ways than you could ever have imagined. I know that my silence disheartens you, but know that I have not abandoned you. I have not forgotten you, and I care for you more than you ever will know. I know you grow more desperate in the times of waiting, but be assured that I will answer your every prayer in my perfect timing. That's hard for us girls that are impatient, because I struggle with that. This is the opportunity to trust me even as your soul cries out for mercy. Going through difficulties is never easy, but it builds your faith in greater ways than a way out of your troubles. My delays should not disappoint you. I will arrive exactly on time. My desire is to bring you into a new intimacy with myself. I only ask that you keep seeking me, assured that I will answer you. I will reward your faith beyond all you can dare to hope for or imagine. When I am silent, trust me more than you want to, and your faith will bring about my most revealing presence and unlimited power in your life. If you believe, you will see the glory of God. And that's John 11:40. This is so good for me to read today, because I felt impatient with some things that I've really been praying for and hoping for. And I know that throughout my life, my impatience trips me up. And yes, we are brokenhearted at times, and we do cry out for mercy. We cry out for God. And the more that I live though and walk in God's will, I can honestly tell you guys, the easier those cries get, the more calm and peaceful my spirit becomes, because I live more in the now, in the day to day. So things that have happened in the past, they're gone. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. All we can do is walk in the day to day, do our best, being kind to ourselves, being kind to one another, and walking in God's will. So I hope that this has encouraged you. I have seen some of the sweetest messages in the comment section below of my videos, because I'm not just a crafter. I love to cook, I love to decorate, I love to encourage women, especially my friends. My hair is doing something kind of funny over on this side. So I'm here to encourage you guys. I know that God has given me this platform for a reason, is to be an encourager and to uplift and just to help heal through crafting, decorating, positivity, and our little devotional. So I hope that this helps you. I hope that no matter what you're going through, because listen when I tell you, I have walked through some deep waters over the last couple of years. I've lost people. My, you know, personal relationships have changed, and it has been it's been probably the most challenging time that I've ever been through and the most growth. I honestly thank God for the challenges that I have went through, because without that, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I'm so strong now because I kept going. And also, the way to keep going is to forgive. You got to forgive. I know it hurts. I know they hurt you. And don't get mad at God. You got to grow closer to God, and you got to try to forgive. So I hope that helps you. Forgiveness is the biggest thing that has set me free, and I encourage you guys to go for it. So I love y'all to the moon and back. I'm going to hug all of your hearts big, big, big tight. I hope you have a gorgeous, fabulous, blessed day. Wish me luck on this college visit with my daughter. It's going to be a big transition, as I will become an empty nester in August. So say a little prayer for my mama heart. And until our next video, be kind to yourselves. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.